we had everything going against us.
Yeah, we were young, we were broke, we didn't know anything about business. We literally started from nothing.
We were never supposed to make it. Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello. We want to welcome you guys to the Win Anyway podcast. This is episode number 5.
Yes.
Episode number 5. So if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. If you're joining us, from not the first time, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome.
Win Anyway is a podcast about pushing through your circumstances, no matter what it is, no matter what BS you've got going on. We want you to figure out a way to push past it and win anyways.
That's right. Fire it up.
Yeah, and today we have a cool topic for you guys. We are going to be talking about how to transition from having an employee mindset to having an entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah, and how to win as an entrepreneur if you've never been one before, and if you're starting off as an employee, or you're quite possibly an employee right now striving to make your business work.
Mm-hmm. Because the employee mindset actually, if you really, really think about it, goes back to our elementary school days, where we have a time where we clock in and we clock out. And once we're done at school, we're done.
Right.
And we can go home and watch TV and play and do, what we would consider to be like fun things. And I think as adults, we're just conditioned to, weekends, weeknights are for chilling and Netflix and relaxing.
Right.
And when you become an entrepreneur, especially if you become an entrepreneur part-time, you have to change that. And so we're going to be talking about all those things today.
Yeah, no doubt, especially if you come from generations of employees within your family, and maybe you didn't come up in a family that taught you the way a business owner thinks.
Right. Yes. And
Sweet.
So let's just jump right on into it and start by talking about the big thing that's missing when you first become an entrepreneur is that you no longer have a boss.
Yeah. Once you become an entrepreneur, I think the favorite part for most people is the fact that they are their own boss. And I think that's one of the things that people start telling themselves day one is, man, I'm my own boss.
I'm my own boss.
Yep.
No one can tell me what to do anymore.
Exactly. And that's the best part. And it's also the worst part if you're a shitty boss.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you cannot keep yourself accountable, it can bring you a lot of problems as an entrepreneur, as a business owner.
Right. And you won't last long as a business owner or as an entrepreneur. You will not make it if you're a bad boss.
Yeah. So what is a good boss?
I think first off, you got to put yourself on a schedule, because if you had a job, you'd have a schedule. But it's also the downfall, because as an entrepreneur, I believe you work 24/7, 365. Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of people, even within our own team, some that are winning, who come in, they get there at 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And then at 4, 5, 6, especially this time of year when the sun goes down early, they leave. And I watch them leave, and I say, well, there will come a day when they walk across that patio and they never walk back in. And it's because they still think like an employee.
Mm-hmm. Especially around this time of year where it's the holidays as well.
Oh, gosh,
right?
man.
Yeah, so people are a little bit more relaxed and they're not as excited to get things going, because I think everyone around them is also on winter break and they have time off work and
kids are home.
The kids are home. So I think we all just kind of go back into that holiday mode.
It's amazing to me how many people start doing things that they could never do before when they had a job. Like, my kids are off school, so we're taking a family vacation. Like, the hell, you ain't taking a damn family vacation when the kids are off school for Christmas the last 25 years in your corporate job.
Right.
And now you're full time, and all of a sudden you got family vacations and Christmas shopping in the middle of the day and family parties and family in town, all this crap that you could have never done at a job, but you do it now. That's the reason you won't make it.
Yeah. And I think it's that they automatically switch like, oh, I'm a business owner now, so I have all the time in the world, but they're forgetting that the fact that you need to work to build up your business so it can allow you the time and the finances to be able to do all that stuff, because you 100%. Can eventually be able to take off for a month and go traveling with your family. You can eventually, say, you know what, I'm not going to go to work this week eventually, but you have to get your business going.
Right.
And strong enough where it can be running without you.
And you got to work. No sick days, no time off, none of that stuff. I mean, it's the fact that you, especially up front, you have to be present all freaking day.
Right.
At least in your head.
Right. And so Jay started in business first. I was working full time, going to school full time. I know we mentioned this before.
Right.
But he started working in the business. He started off part time for about a week. And then his job let him go. So he was kind of pushed into full time, even though he was super excited about it.
Right.
He was kind of, it just fell in his lap very quickly.
Yeah.
So for you, all of a sudden, having very little free time to work on your business to having all the free time to work on your business, how did you set up a schedule for yourself?
Number one, I was in the office at 8 a.m., whether the office was open or not. And just because I was freaking fired up, I was excited to go. And if the office wasn't open, I was in the parking lot making calls. I was doing things that were going to get me results, because if you own a business or even a small business, like you're a barber, the barber does not get paid if the shop's not open. Because if the shop's not open, ain't no one sitting in your chair. And if ain't no one sitting in your chair, you ain't getting paid. And so I understood that, like, I got to be on a daily schedule where I get in the office at 8. I prospect from I make calls maybe from 9 to 11. I eat from 11 to 12. I prospect from 12 to 5 if I didn't have appointments, right? And then if I had appointments, then 6, 7, 8, and 9, I'm running KTPs. I'm sitting down with the client. So I'm in the office. In the morning, I'm driving my calendar. Mm-hmm. In the afternoon, I'm filling my pipeline. And in the evening, I'm harvesting all the seeds I've been sowing, right? But I'm sitting down with clients.
Okay. Got it. And so to you, was it more important that you had a schedule set in place, or was it more important that you had hit some results for that day?
It was 100%. It was 100% results based.
Okay.
Yeah. So one thing I would tell you is that you should have minimum daily standards.
Okay.
Minimum daily standards of exactly what I have to get done every day as a bare minimum in order for me to keep this train moving forward.
Okay, great. So minimum daily standards, right? Keeping yourself accountable to that.
Right.
Setting up a schedule that is in alignment with those minimum daily standards.
100%. 100%. Too many people, and I bet you guys can relate to this. I see it all the time. I go to Starbucks. I bust open my MacBook, right? And I sit in Starbucks, and I got my self-development book, 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class, like right here.
Right.
And then I got my MacBook, and I'm on there, and I'm busy, I'm prospecting, right? I'm working at Starbucks. Dude, that's freaking bullshit. That is such freaking crap. That is a losing schedule for a WFG person. Or they go to Barnes and Noble and they sit at the coffee shop and read a self-development book and wait for someone to go, oh, that's a good book. And, oh, yeah, by the way, let me get your number. Freaking bullshit. Like, that stuff does not work.
Right.
It does not work. That's not work. Work is every day I make 50 calls. I get 20 numbers. I set 5 appointments. I freaking hit the gym and get 1 or 2 numbers there. I run something, I get something done like every single day. I'm getting results. I'm not playing business. Telling my wife that I'm going, my wife's got a full-time job. I'm over here trying to make WFG work, and I'm going to the office, and then I'm spending my whole day at Starbucks, not really working, but I feel like an entrepreneur because that's what I see on Instagram. But the whole time, really all I'm doing is pimping out my spouse because they're the one bringing home the money and paying the checks. It's like, it's nonsense. You got to have a minimum daily standard if you want to ever make it or even stand a chance.
Right. And this is where accountability comes into play, because let's say you're not that great of a boss and you know it up front. So a lot of times when people are going to start in business, they're going to start part-time or full-time, we sit down with them and we go over a schedule and we say, okay, if you're part-time, you work Monday through Friday, from 9 o'clock to 8, from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4.
Right.
You need to come to the office for a couple hours after, right? So
right.
We set up a schedule. We say, okay, you need to come, at this time, Monday through Friday, and this many hours on the weekend. We set up a schedule with them that works with their schedule.
Right.
And
so if someone's part-time, how do they do that?
If they're part-time.
Right. So let's say I wake up at 7, I leave, I drive an hour and a half, I get to work, I work the whole day, I'm tired, I get off, I got kids at home, my husband expects dinner on the table, or my wife expects me to bring home food or cook. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to make my business work. Mm-hmm. Wednesday nights, I already don't see my kids because I got BPM. Saturday morning, I already miss soccer games because I got to go to the meeting. I'm part-time. How do I win?
The first thing I would say is enroll your spouse and enroll your kids into this conversation saying, hey, like I'm starting this business. I'm starting in this company because we as a family need or want these things.
Right.
And talk about what they want. Talk about the things that they want to accomplish,
Right.
things that they can get out of the business.
That's good.
Enroll them into it and then say, okay, if you guys really want that, then I'm going to need to dedicate some hours. So some nights I'm not going to be home. On Saturdays, I'm going to put in a little extra work. On Sundays, I'm going to put in a little extra work. You're going to see me less, but in the future, you're going to see me a whole lot more.
Oh, that's
right.
good.
And enrolling them in that. And once you get their buy-in, it's sitting down with your trainer. I would say sit down with your trainer so you have that accountability and say, okay, I need a schedule, and sit down, have a conversation. Yeah, that works for me. This doesn't work for me. And really set yourself up to win. And then once you have that schedule, share it with your family again and say, okay, this is where I'm going to be. If I ever am not following this schedule, please keep me accountable.
That's
and
good.
your kids will do it.
That's good.
Your kids will remember it because they never forget.
Right.
And they'll do it.
Right. And I love how you said getting them enrolled.
Yeah.
Of, hey, you know what? Mommy's not going to work. Mommy's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, dad's not going to work. Dad's going to get that Hawaii trip for us.
Yeah.
Like it's a total different mentality. And then also your kids also see you doing that, which is cool. And it all comes back to the minimum daily standard, though. If I'm not going to come home and tell my kids that I'm going to work, if I'm going to work and doing no work,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I don't have a minimum daily standard. But before you know it, you've wasted 2 weeks. The thing about someone going from employee to entrepreneur is that it's a very scary thing when you make that jump, especially when you're full-time, because you're sitting around all day and you realize how much time you waste. Because you're in the office and you're like, oh my God, I have no appointments. I have no one to call. I have like freaking nothing going on. And then instead you get in your head, right? And you get this constant paranoia of, I got to get a job. 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 And it's a action cures fear. It's one of the most overused quotes in WFG. But it's so true that when you're scared, get your ass to work
and
for
we
yourself.
use that still till today.
100%.
We get a bad chargeback. We're like, okay, what are we going to do? What do we have lined up? What can we close right now? What can we get delivered?
Right.
What is the action plan? We don't spend a lot of time freaking out about stuff.
Massive
we freak about
immediate action.
About it like 2 minutes.
2 minutes. That's it. And then it's all right, well, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
Everything in your life sucks. Great.
What are you going
to do about it? You're getting your ass kicked. Great. Are you going to kick back or are you going to just bend over and take it? Like, what are you going to do about it, right? Because at the end of the day, action is the only thing that fixes your problem.
Right.
And if you're sitting around scared to death, what are you going to do? For example, by now you're probably wondering why I have a black eye.
Right.
So I did not win the day. I came home. Ronnie was upset. I'm just joking.
Right. No.
No, what happened was I was driving. I was pulling out of a parking lot. This dude going 70 miles an hour down the side street T-boned me. Sunday at 2 o'clock. I had a 3 o'clock and a 4:30 closing appointment. And I mean, like it was a bad accident. And I found a way to the office and said, all right, well, we're going to freaking win anyways. Like literally, we're going to win anyway. Went to the office, ran 2 appointments, got a solid dollar commitment, closed it up today. My face was swollen. My client's looking like, wow. I walked in and one of our agents like, dude, what the heck happened? I was like, I just got in a horrible accident, literally 20 minutes before that. But at the end of the day, you win anyway because a daily standard of not going home as a loser, it means a lot to us. It's something that we really hold to every day.
Yeah, and it's him running that schedule from the very beginning to switch his mentality from that employee to that entrepreneur mindset that has led up to this.
Because what's an employee do if you get in an accident on the way to work?
Oh, you're gonna call an ambulance because you want to make sure you get that disability insurance,
right.
And then you're gonna milk it for as long as possible so that you don't have to go to work and you could just stay at home until they tell you have to come back.
And how many people would do that in WFG?
Tons of people, because they haven't worked on their mentality long enough to be able to switch it to like, you know what? This is my time. I need to maximize it.
Right.
It doesn't matter if I just got in a car accident or I'm sick or I had a bad day or whatever it is.
Right.
You just learn how to push through it. But you have to start from the little things like the scheduling.
Yep.
And the quotas that you set for yourself. the daily things, because if you don't do those little things, you're never going to be able to do the big things.
Amen. Amen. And when you do those things, you start to build self-integrity, or you trust yourself. You could count on yourself, and you're aware. See, employees make emotional decisions, and successful winning entrepreneurs make decisions on standards, not emotions. And so for me, I said, well, shoot, how more badass would it be if I go write an app with a busted eye 30 minutes after my accident?
Right. That builds confidence.
Dude, exactly. And I walk in and even my team's like, what the heck? But in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to go home. What the freaking heck, go home? I didn't even get a police report. I probably should have got a police report, but I didn't, because all I was looking at my calendar going, I got a guy on my team named Jarrett in New York who's hungry and trying to win, and I can't cancel appointments on him. He's counting on me to be there and make this freaking happen. And that's what you do. You win anyway.
Yep.
What's another thing? I think part of the problem with people in the business trying to go from employee to entrepreneur is taking ownership. I think a lot of times people don't take ownership. They don't value WFG. I think one of the problems with the business is that it costs $100. I think that's one of the biggest problems with it, is that if you paid $250,000 for your Subway or $1.8 million for your McDonald's, you show up, accident or not, to get your business up and running.
Right.
And I think people undervalue WFG, and I think that's one of the reasons why people don't win, is it's a hobby for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Talk about that.
And
a
I can
bit.
tell you from my personal experience that I started in business about a month before we opened our own office, just the two of us. And things got very real once we signed the check, the deposit, right? First and last month's rent. Things became so real once we put up the money. And taking ownership in your business, maybe, and I'm not telling you to open up an office right now, depends on your situation. But what I am telling you is that you need to find ways to invest in your business.
Right.
And that starts with maybe having an office within your office, right? Or paying memberships, or
a cubicle.
Or investing in events, right? Investing in your own training, self-development, the company's events, right? Especially those. And then as secondary events, stuff like Tony Robbins,
Right.
The 10X growth conference, things of that nature that are going to pour into yourself and pour into your business.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's two things that you can invest. It's your time and your money. And on a daily basis, you need to make sure you're investing one or the other into your business.
Right.
And there's nothing that switches your mentality faster than you investing. And especially when it's money, because you are committing yourself and your wallet to your business.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think getting an office, getting a cubicle, paying your memberships or your plugins, contributing, buying water for the office, providing freaking dry erase markers. All these things are ways that you contribute. And the ultimate goal, guys, is to find a way to own some stock in the company. That's really what it is. Like people within Tenacity know, if we pay our membership, did we get a freaking seat at the table? Because we paid our membership. Our opinion gets heard. Every time you pull a square off the toilet paper roll, someone paid for that crap.
Right.
Literally. So here's the deal. It's like putting some money into your business makes you value it. I mean, when I was brand new, I was an associate. My dad and I were sharing a cubicle. We had half of a cubicle, and it was $475 a month for half of a cubicle.
Right.
That half of a cubicle did not get us a key. It did not get us anything other than half of a cubicle. And by the way, the assistant at that office was, let's just say very good at her job, in the sense that if I put my notebook on the other half of the cubicle, she'd be walking by, excuse me, that's not your half of the cubicle. I'm like, really? $475 a month for half of a cubicle.
Yeah.
And this was back in 2011. And I was broke. But you want to know what it did? I was determined to make my money back every month.
And then when you're going out and you're talking to people, you're talking to your friends, your family, prospects, right? People who you hope to be potential clients, you actually have some You know, you have
You got an
moral
office.
authority. Yeah, you've got moral authority to say that you're taking this seriously. And that belief, people can tell.
Oh,
People
yeah,
can tell.
for sure.
Yeah, when you're serious or when you're not serious, people can tell.
Because you're invested into your success.
Yeah, if you've ever gone to a sporting event or you know, gone to the racetrack, are you cheering louder when you have put a bet in or if you're just going to watch?
Oh, so true. So
right?
true.
You're going to be screaming pretty loud trying to cheer on whoever you want to win if you got money on the game.
Because when you put money up, you got to make your money back.
Exactly.
And here's the deal. The best part, in my personal opinion, of being an entrepreneur is the fact that you are in control of your success. I didn't understand this when I had a job, but now having been in business and not having to wake up to an alarm unless I wanted to for 8 years now since we've been doing this, I can't imagine ever going back to a job. And the reason why is because at this point in our lives, right, we understand our value and we understand what we're worth and we understand what we deserve. And I think part of the reason that a lot of people struggle in the beginning is because they're used to getting 20, 30, 40 bucks an hour. And it's good. It's acceptable. Have you ever thought about that when you were an employee and you applied at whatever job you have right now? And they said, all right, we'll pay you 20 bucks an hour, 30 bucks an hour, 50 bucks an hour, 60 bucks, 70 bucks an hour, whatever. No matter how great your career is, you're an attorney, you're a doctor, whatever. Either way, think all the way back even then and then even before when you first got your first job. And they said, all right, we're going to pay you $13 an hour or whatever minimum wage is now, 15 bucks an hour or something. Yeah. Like, and you got the job, right? So now you're in WFG and you're like, God, I hate my job. But think about the fact that there was a time when you turned in an application and they were like, we'll pay you 20 bucks an hour. You're like, hell yeah.
Right.
See, here's my point is that as an employee, it doesn't matter how good you are at your job. You get paid the same, even if you're bad at it. Even if she's terrible, she's getting the same check as me. Mm-hmm. Even if I'm the dude in the bathroom the whole time on Instagram, I bet you some of you watching do this, you're still getting paid because they're paying the position, not the person.
Right. And here, they pay the person.
That's right.
They pay your results. They pay your work.
That's right.
It.
And if we were paying the position, you would get no commission. Mm-hmm. And commission is everything because, see, commission comes when you commit. I believe if you commit, you'll get commission. People lack the commitment because as an employee, you just show up, do enough not to get fired, do enough not to lose your job, and collect your check, and you go home. And the most beautiful part of WFG is it's very honest, and it pays you 100% what you deserve and far past that once you get it going.
Yep, 100%. And so in the beginning, you're going to have to sacrifice some things.
Right.
You're going to have to sacrifice things short term in order to win long term. And so that comes from switching on a daily basis, working on it and practicing it, your mentality from being an employee to being an entrepreneur.
Yep. Working a lot on yourself and a lot on your standards of the fact that I know I deserve more.
Yep.
I think an entrepreneur knows that. I know I deserve more and I know I might not get it right away. In WFG, you're going to start off overworked if you're doing it right and probably underpaid, which means that you're putting in work. And you're like, I was on the phone with a guy today. If I could have kicked him in the balls through the phone, I would have done it. Because he's talking about, I don't quit that. I don't quit soon. I'm not going to quit this early. I'm like, bro, you ain't even started.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You just got your license posted on the state website. And you act like you're off to a slow start and you've been here a month.
Right. A month
like,
is
what
way
the freaking
too
heck?
early to evaluate your
Dude,
progress.
Tell me about it. I'm like, whoa, you got to wake up, bro. Here's the deal, guys. Stop negotiating the price of whether or not this amount of work you have to do is worth it. Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest thing is that winners in the business look at what has to get done and go, it's freaking worth it.
And they remind themselves every single day.
People who lose look at the price,
Yep.
not what they're getting for the price. Mm-hmm. See, I look at the price and I go 20 numbers a day and I'm going to get this. oh my God, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
But if I was a loser, I look and I go, 20 numbers a day.
It's going to take me forever.
It's going to take me forever. How? How do you do that? Look, if you're an employee, you're working 8 hours. If you're part-time, you're working 6 hours. Here's I think what we could end with. People go on part-time into business. Let me ask you a question. What's part-time at a job?
20 to 30 hours?
20 to 30. 35. If you're at Walmart, 39. 1 hour short. We don't have to give you benefits.
Right. 20
to 30 hours. And then they come in WFG part-time and they go, I come to the meeting on Wednesday for 2.5 hours. And they do a meeting after the meeting. Dude, if you're part-time here, put in some part-time freaking hours. Mm-hmm. Go clock in 25 hours in WFG. That's part-time. Mm-hmm. A job ain't going to hire you for 4 hours a week.
No.
And BPM don't even count as hours.
No, that's training.
Unless you had a guest. If you have a guest, you could count it as hours. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's training, right? You're showing up without a guest. That's not hours. That's nothing. That's you went to the gym and you got on the stairs, the Stairmaster, but you never clicked start. You standing up there wondering why your butt's flat. Mm-hmm. Because you're standing there. You're not walking. Here's the deal. If you're going to be part-time, work some part-time hours. Give yourself a shot.
Yeah.
Go put 20, 30 hours a week. Stop looking at the price and instead look at the worth. What am I getting for the price that I'm paying?
Yep.
That's the beauty of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and it'll pay off. I promise.
Yes, and you can start getting some rings. And I'm sick of this green ring already. Time for the next one.
Time to upgrade.
It's time to level up.
Time for you guys to upgrade.
100%. I'm done.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget,
appreciate it.
Subscribe, comment, message us on Instagram. Let us know what you guys want to hear, because we're here for it.
100%. Comment. Don't. A lot of DMs is cool, but
comments are good.
We go through the comments and we look at them all, and we go, all right, what do people want to hear? Here's the thing, guys. We really want you to grow from this.
Mm-hmm. That's the only reason why we're doing it.
Yeah, we ain't doing it for us.
Yes.
This, if anything, is a distraction. We really want you guys to grow. We really want you to get value, and we try to put ourselves back to the beginning of our careers every time we're gonna do an episode. And you guys commenting, we read every single one. We read them on YouTube. We read them on Instagram. We read every direct message, and our goal is really that you can grow as a result of this, and we could just have some contribution towards you getting up on the big stage someday.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Paying it forward.
Whoosh, we're out.
All right, guys.